Well, hey everyone, Andy Sturwich here from Altaro Software, and I'm at Microsoft Ignite in sunny Orlando, Florida. I'm joined today by Rick Claus, a man who requires no introduction. How's it going, Rick?
No introduction? What are you talking about? I'm Rick Claus. I work for Microsoft, currently in the Azure compute team over in the headquarters. And I'm also at Microsoft tonight because we're both here staying together. And behind us you can see the lovely expo hall and some of the booths that he's taken me away from to be able to come over here and do this quick little interview with you.
Hey, I appreciate your time, by the way. So, hey, Rick, one of the things I wanted to talk about today, something that's really of interest to our audience, is the whole concept of nested virtualization inside of Azure Compute. That was recently released. What can you tell us about it?
Wow. So think of it like a inception moment of machines within machines within machines. That's basically what we demoed today during the keynote, for Scott Guthrie's keynote, for these types of things. We released back in July 3 new families of machines, the DV3s, so version 3 of the Ds, version 3 of the Es, and also the M series, as we call the monster machines. All those machines are hyper-threaded, and they're running on top of our 2016 fabric. Underneath for the host. You guys don't get a chance to see that sort of stuff. So because these are hyper-threaded, and because they're on 2016 as a fabric, they do support nested virtualization, or what we call para-virtualization, to be able to work. If you know how to do virtualization inside of a Hyper-V box on your home lab, at your office, or anywhere else you normally would have access to physical hardware, the exact same setup is required to be able to work on it on one of these different types of machines. Now obviously you've got to pick a machine that's large enough, has enough resources to be able to carve up, but essentially install Hyper-V, got some reboots you have to do, establish a fake network that it can talk to, or have it go through NAT, one of the other's default options, and then you're just good to go. You install the base OS inside of the guest machine inside of Hyper-V, and you're off and running.
Hey, that sounds awesome. Sounds good. Now, one of the things I'm interested in is, what does Microsoft see as the projected use cases? I mean, one of them that I can think of is dev test, demos. I know from a newbie who's learning Hyper-V for the first time, procuring hardware can be really difficult. So I could see that as being a potential use case, but maybe there's some others that you can talk about.
Yeah, like we see a lot, as you mentioned, in dev test environments, because you can, with Hyper-V, go through and configure your entire environment, take a snapshot, which is a traditional snapshot that you would expect, which is different than an Azure snapshot at the OS level for the guests that are not para-virtualized. And then you can take points in time and restore them back and stuff like that. So it's great for being able to do that. We've seen people do it from a security perspective, to do a malware analysis, to be able to have a machine captured inside of a honeypot or inside of an isolated network, to be able to go off and take a look at it that way. And also we see it from a perspective of training environments, as you mentioned earlier, for being able to go through and do some training with stuff. And there's one more that's actually escaped me right now that I see as well. I'm like, oh yes, for real workloads. You can take and compartmentalize a very large machine, like one of our M128s or M64s. Those guys are able to go off and be carved up into specific discrete workloads to be better used. So maybe you got your traditional database server, your front-end web server and stuff like that, but it's all on one box, or maybe 3 different workloads all running on one box, and you want to have that level of isolation. That's also possible as well.
Hey, that's great. It sounds like a lot of options there, a lot of flexibility.
Like anything, you do have to be aware that whenever you virtualize, you are going to be taking a bit of a hit on performance. Yep. And if you virtualize within the virtualization, you're going to take a hit on performance again. And if you virtualize within the virtualization, within the virtualization, within the virtualization, you're definitely going to take a bit of a hit there too.
Where does it stop?
It doesn't really. It just slows down to the point where it's like slow motion. And
right.
Car chase scenes and all sort of stuff going on.
Well, hey, it sounds like great stuff. So the last thing I want to ask, I always like to follow up my interviews with just kind of a fun question. So, and this could be a Microsoft technology if you want, but my question is, out of all technology that's available today, could be video game system, could be an RC car, could be drones, what is your absolute favorite?
How long is this interview for?
Could be a while, huh? As long as you need.
So, I'll give you two things. I'm now just gotten the bug, and I've been playing around with home automation. For being able to go through and do smart devices inside my house. And so I bought into the whole, I'm using a Wink system, a Wink 2 hub, talking different types of smart devices, that sort of stuff. So I'm obsessed with going through with that and keeping it secure. From a workplace related thing, actually just over there, I had a chance to take a look at it earlier, is something called the Azure Data Box. It is a ruggedized I'm going to say Claus-proof, but I'm not going to jinx it. But it's a ruggedized, it almost looked like the size of a beefy PC case that is completely sealed, that has e-ink on the front of it that actually is a shipping label, and it has 100 terabytes of storage space. So you order this up, the e-ink says your address, the guy picks it up from the truck, throws it in the back of his truck, it goes and arrives at your site, you plug it into your data center, you do your data migration to it, you say that I'm all done. The e-ink changes back to our data center. The guy comes, picks it up, throws it in the back of his truck, comes to our data center, and we offload it into your subscription.
Wow, that's pretty slick.
To me, that's just awesome. And you can actually look at it right there today.
I'm going to have to make a stop over there. So one last thing, you mentioned ClausNet, which reminds me, you and Joey Snow have a fantastic show called Patch and Switch, correct?
Yes, we our alter personalities, our alter egos, Patch and Switch. We don't know who is Patch and who is Switch. Get together, we talk about geeky stuff, and we do about every second week or so. We try to, at least. Nice.
So I bring that up because if you're interested in what ClausNet is, you'll have to watch the show and find out, right?
Yeah, we tend to have almost an honorary segment talking about what have I claused recently for breaking different things. So yeah, it comes up a lot.
Nice. Well, Rick, I want to say thanks for taking the time to talk to us today. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, man. Great.
And for those of you watching, feel free to keep an eye out on our channel for other video segments here from Microsoft Ignite. And thanks for watching.